Hello there, everyone, and I hope you're having a good April. And for those of you who observe, I hope you had a good holiday weekend. And we're looking forward to the fourth month, which is unbelievable. But where did it all go? Anyway, moving right along. There's nothing we can still talk about that now. Anyway, as I somewhat mentioned in the title, I'm discussing a quote from Bill Gates about success, which was a little surprised when I saw it because it's like not the kind of thing I would have expected from Bill Gates until I thought about it. And I said, well, yeah, I guess he probably would have said something like that. But you had to think about it. So, anyway, the quote here is success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. So, let's think about that. Once you get to be successful or you start out being successful, those people that you might envy people that say, oh, they're successful. Anything they do, it works out well. Yeah, but let's think about this for a minute. If they really are that good and they can be successful, what kind of people are they? Are they generally friendly? Are they generally fair? Are they generally considerate of others? Or do they tend to approach the world as if everybody can do it and so they're higher above than everybody else? Odds are that if they're generally free and fair with other people, they probably have success or failures that you don't know about. But, that's a totally different issue. But I want to here mention Thomas Edison because he came to mind when I was thinking about this. And I've said this before, and I think many of you have heard the comment that he's had 1,000 failures before he was able to find the right mechanism, the right material to create the light bulb. Let's think about this for a moment. If he managed to be successful with 2 or 3 of his inventions, do you think he really would have gotten to be the inventor he was if he was successful in the first couple? Because the implication is that by the time he got to an invention that didn't work out, he could very easily have given up because he was expected to be successful. And he's going to say, "Oh, this doesn't work," and so it's can't do it, and go on. I mean, most people would not have stayed 1,000 times for the light bulb. Most people wouldn't have done it for 10 times, let alone 1,000 times. So that when people tend to be successful, they tend to expect things quickly, and then when they face a little adversity, they give up. So I think this is where Gates is coming from when he says that it's a success is a lousy teacher, because it teaches you some perseverance in going after the thing that you want to try and make it work. Now, how does this apply to you? Don't give up. Now, there's a point, I think, to recognizing when giving up or modifying or something comes into play. Um, I'm never going to be 20 again. There's no point in my trying to be successful in doing that. Besides, I'm not sure I want to do, but that's beside the point. Let's think in terms of what can be done in that. I might want to be as healthy as I was when I was 20, but that's not quite the same thing. So if you're trying to be successful in a particular endeavor, whatever that may be, whether it being as a parent or a student or at a particular job or a particular hobby, you might want to think in terms of success at doing what? Now, I know that sounds a little odd, but what I mean by that is to think in terms of a specific area of expertise that you want to actually be good at. So, again, I don't know where that came from, but ice skaters just came to mind. An Olympic ice skater may be good at certain things, but they don't necessarily have to be good at everything. Ice dancers are good at ice dancing. That doesn't necessarily mean they're equally good as, say, speed skating, for example. Speed skaters may be really good at speed skating, but they may not be necessarily as good as ice dancing. So this is where I'm coming from, that you probably have some kind of component in a skill or that you want to acquire that you're better at. So you might want to pursue that and emphasize that and work on that instead of trying to do everything. Runners, athletes, they generally tend to be good at certain things and not necessarily at all things. I know that when some of my students talk about where they want to go and how they want to be successful, and I tell them to think in terms of, in a sense, what their branding statement is and what do they want to be known for. We all have branding statements, folks, all of us. Most likely, you didn't give it to yourself and you didn't create it, but somebody thinks of you in a certain way when they think about you. Your branding statements usually come from somebody else, unless you spend the time to create one and develop it on your own. So what you might want to think in terms of when somebody thinks about you, what's your branding statement according to their eyes? When they look at you, they probably think you're good at something. And you might want to think in terms of, is this something that you want to develop? Is this something you want to be? Is this something you want to be known for? If it's not, for example, somebody says, oh, they're really good at, interrupting people. Okay. Maybe that's what your branding statement is for a bunch of people. Is that what you want? So you may want to think in terms of how you want to change it. Where do you want your success to be? Where do you want your failures to be? So that you take those things and build up on them so you get to do the things that you want to do and be known for what you want to be known for. Does this make sense? So that if you got to be successful right off the bat, you're probably not looking at developing all the things in you that could be developed. Or maybe there should be one thing that you need to work on and develop that and not spend a lot of your time doing other things. You can't be successful at everything. Now, let me back up on that. It is possible that depending on what you do, you might be able to be good and successful in the sense that you accomplish everything you set out to do. My question, though, is, are you really good? Are you really successful at any one particular thing? Or are you just a generalist in a bunch of little things? Does this make sense? So do you want to be a generalist and that nobody really thinks you're necessarily good at something? They may just, oh, they're good at everything, which is okay, but is that what you want? Or would you rather be known for being really, really good at one particular thing, or maybe two particular things? Does that make sense? So when you're thinking in terms of success and what you want to accomplish, and you're working towards certain goals, are you trying to be successful in everything, which may not necessarily be the best thing for you to do, because then you're spreading your time out on different topics. And so you're never really spending your time on improving one or two particular things so that you can be really good at those particular things. Okay? I could be really good at learning how to edit and do something with video. It's not there for me in case somebody hasn't figured that out by now. I would rather be able to have some things that I could teach to other people and explain to them so that they understood. For me, it would be more important to be able to explain so that others understand. I'm not necessarily looking to be the best looking YouTube video on, the planet. So I'm giving up certain things, which I admit some people would like to have good looking videos. And if you do, okay, you're probably not going to hang around with me that long. Some of you are going to say, well, it's a lousy looking video. I'll turn off the video and just listen. That's perfectly fine. But you think in terms of, is that what you want to do? In my case, I'm not really concerned about the video. I should be. Maybe one of these days I'll do it. Somebody sits down with me and shows me, I might consider it. But at this particular moment in time, that's not where I want to be successful. Now, that's me. I'm going to guess that each of you has something similar to that specific point. And so do you even know what it is? Have you figured out where you want to put your time and your energy? Because if you've only got so many days and so many minutes in the hour and in your lifetime, why don't you put those times toward where you want to spend them instead of trying to spend them across the board and not really emphasizing anything? Okay? Have one of your failures be a good teacher and decide whether or not you want to improve that. And so you get to be better. Don't just let success be the thing that you work on when you don't really need to. And so you just, in a sense, become, shall we say, mediocre because there's no reason for you to improve on it because you do it well. And so what's the point? I may be getting wrapped around. I hope not. I hope you follow where I'm coming from. But just give it some thought and see if this makes sense or if I've just resonated with anything. If I'm confusing you, please make a comment and tell me about it and give me a chance to see if I can clarify my point. Because I'm perfectly willing to do that. You just have to ask me the questions to do that, okay? So I hope this made sense. I hope you found this useful. I hope maybe you know somebody that you could share it with. And if you can, let me know that you found it useful enough to share it. And we will chat with you later. Have a good evening and a good week. Bye, everybody.